Hope you guys are having a good Friday. Thank you for making us a part of it. Welcome back. The pandemic has changed the way we do a lot of things these days, seriously. Nowhere is that more obvious than the grocery store, where Americans are spending more money than ever before. That's because we're cooking. Joining us to talk about how our grocery shopping has changed is the co-host of The Weekly Dish and America's new favorite cross-country traveler, the great in a turtleneck, Stephanie Hansen. Good morning, Stephanie.
Hi, I'm wearing my warm turtleneck today. Oh my gosh, it's already like winter.
Well, okay, I got to apologize to the viewers at home. I kept teasing and poking a little fun that you were going to be live from your van down by the river. You are, in fact, in your guest bedroom, right?
I am. I did put a picture of our old van in the corner just so that you could have reference. Yeah, we had to cut the trip a couple days short. Unfortunately, my dad is sick in Wisconsin, and I needed to deal with some family stuff. So we came home a couple days early.
Oh, my friend, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sending you love. Before we get to this list, I do want to ask you, just to tie up the van, now that you're back, we followed your adventures. You were live for us. Your favorite part of the whole thing, Steph?
Oh, my favorite part of the whole thing, this sounds kind of weird, but I just love like being outside in nature. You know, we're in this van and we're traveling around the country and it's coronavirus times, but we don't really talk to very many people or see very many people because we have everything all contained in the van. We have a bathroom, a shower, the bed, the food. So just like the idea of being out in nature and how just incredibly beautiful this entire country is.
Yeah.
I'm just stunned by how amazing.
Yeah. Did you catch that swordfish on the wall behind you during your travels?
Actually, we did buy that on one of our travels.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Because we're also sailors, which
Yeah,
I
know.
You know, we like to be out and about. We don't sit still very long.
Well, when you do sit still, you grocery shop a lot because you cook a lot. Things are changing, as I said in the intro. One of the things that you listed here, trips are fewer, lists are better. What do you mean?
Okay, so grocery shopping is like my love language, right? Like I love going to the store. I never shopped online for food. I want to touch things, I want to feel things, and I was not a list maker because I would just go to the grocery store and I would buy all the produce and all the meats and the things that I thought looked really good.
Yeah.
And then I'd come home and I'd figure out what I was going to make. No more, my friend. Like pandemic shopping is just, it's ruined me. It's terrible for me because I'm like white knuckling it with my cart, panic driving through the aisles, like throwing stuff in.
Oh no.
And it's not very pleasurable. So I'm trying to do what a lot of Americans are doing now, and we're making lists. We're being more thoughtful and we're planning out our shopping. We're not going to just like willy-nilly and hang out in the aisle and look at labels. No, it's a lot more planned. It's a lot more list driven.
Yeah.
And frankly, for me, a lot less fun. I don't know.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, you can still be spontaneous, Hansen.
Not really. Like, I love to go to the store and like look at everything. I love to read the labels.
Yeah.
Now I feel like if I'm reading a label, someone's like 6 feet away from me trying to get past.
Where are you shopping? That this in a Stephen King novel? Are you in
like
Salem's Lot? Is there a Cub in Salem's Lot?
I feel like it because I'm panicked. I have a ton of anxiety just even going to the store, and I am not alone. This is very common for Americans right now. We have changed completely the way that we shop.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love Salem's Lot too. That was a good reference. Way
Thank
to
you.
pull up the 90s.
They don't give these shows to monkeys, you know? Seriously. Number two, online aisles are bustling. What do you mean by that, Hansen?
Well, had you ever online grocery shopped before the pandemic?
A little bit. I did and do for my mom.
Okay. It was really a small percentage of Americans that were shopping online for groceries. It was like in the single digits. Now, as many as 60% of people have shopped online for groceries.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's incredible. The whole field grew by 81% in the span of 6 weeks. So a lot of people are having groceries delivered at home, and not just like, your Instacarts and your Byerlys, but Amazon Prime taking over Whole Foods has really brought that into the forefront. And also people are buying like macaroni and cheese on Amazon.
Yeah. And the interfaces, Stephanie, are getting easier and more intuitive. It's not so cumbersome.
Yeah, and a lot of these services like Instacart, for example, there is an actual person that goes into a store and picks
Yeah.
things for you. So that appeals to me a little bit more because I feel like it's literally someone, I don't know them, but they maybe are taking care to pick my bananas and my fruit.
Yeah.
I still am going into the store. For me, it's just I want to touch things, I want to look at things, but it is not as pleasurable as it used to be.
You mentioned fruit. You mentioned fruit. We're going to try to squeeze one more in here and do the rest on the other side.
Yeah.
It says orange is the new snack. What do you mean?
Who would have thunk it that orange sales, literal navel oranges, sales have increased 73%. Now, oranges are delicious, they're very handy, you can peel and eat, but I personally think it has to do with that people are loading up on vitamin C because of the coronavirus. But who could have seen that trend coming? Oranges being like amazing.
The Queen of Salem's Lot will be back with more of her list when we return. Stay right there, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. More with our good friend Stephanie Hansen talking about how grocery stores have changed and are changing the pandemic, especially those in the outskirts of Salem's Lot. We have number 4 on here, redrawing the store. What do you mean by that?
Okay, remember when you'd go into the store and they'd have like all the new things on the ends of the aisles and they'd have like the Halloween display? Well, now in each of the stores, there's almost like a coronavirus display that has your hand sanitizer, your wipes, your toilet paper, your paper towel, all of that stuff. And they've really reorganized the store so that the staples are on the end caps, not the new sort of frivolous things.
Yeah.
So you might see soups and you might see saltine crackers, like things that people are grabbing that are staples now.
Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. As I think about the stores that I go into, yeah, there's the occasional featured item, but yeah, there are a lot of essentials.
Yeah, it's like pastas and tomato sauces and things are grouped together so that if you're panic shopping like me and throwing stuff in the cart, you're like at that aisle and you're like, oh, here's noodles. I could take 3 noodles. Oh, there's some sauce. I can take some sauce. Versus like before, it was always the new products that were introduced on the end of the aisles. Because a lot of people don't know this, but companies would pay to be on those end caps. So it's all different.
The next one on your list, and I've felt this, choices are shrinking.
Yeah. So, okay. And this is not good for foodies. Sorry. You used to be able to go to the store and there'd be like 6 different kinds of tomatoes. You'd have your San Marzano, you'd have your petite diced. Now, like instead of 6, they're going to go with 3. And they're really paring all of the selection down so that they can still have a lot of items, but the depth of the product SKUs are not as deep. So instead of having like 4 kinds of gluten-free pasta, you might just have 2. They're really just taking all of their popular brands and they're narrowing down the amount of choices that you have in the store.
Number 6, the freezer is hot. Hot.
Okay, this is awesome because it's given people a lot of opportunity, including yourself, Jason. People want frozen foods that they can throw in their freezers that they can cook when they don't have anything super easy or handy.
I'm sure hoping so. I'm counting on it, Steph. I'm counting on it.
Yeah, frozen biscuits, frozen scones, frozen croissants, frozen pizzas. Also like bagged vegetables. It used to be that people wouldn't buy frozen vegetables because they seemed like not as fresh. They're actually very fresh because they're frozen right at the point of putting them in the bags. And people are loading up their carts with frozen vegetables and frozen pre-made foods.
Absolutely. And finally, number 7, local is a big lure.
Yeah. So people are freaked out that there's going to be a loss of something in the store. Like, oh, we're not going to have meat. We're not going to have this. So what's happened is the distribution chain was interrupted. And a lot of stores are bringing in more local products because people want to support their local neighbors. They want the money to stay in the community. Remember that every dollar you spend, if you spend it with a local company, 70% of that dollar stays in Minnesota,
Yep.
pays for things like taxes and healthcare and all those things we want that are good. So really being purposeful about spending your money in Minnesota companies and buying Minnesota products. It makes a huge difference if you look at your cart and just like, okay, can I swap out a product that's a Minnesota product versus something that's national? If you can do that just a little bit at the time, think of all the families and the people you're impacting in our own state.
It's a good reminder. We have just a few seconds. I want to tell you, thank you to you. I named a best thing ever recently that you kind of informed me about, and that is the new Certix restaurant sidebar. I went to it a couple weeks ago. I will say it's one of my favorite new places in Minneapolis. So all of you watching, if you're coming into the city, it's fantastic, Steph.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
I knew it would be. They are such pros, not only in how they make a space feel, but just the food. Like
Yeah.
they take simple cheese platter and it feels so elevated and special, and it's very airy in there and lots of great wine pairings.
Yeah, it's good. And Minnesota right there. She's Minnesota
Yeah.
too. Her and her turtleneck. Live from Salem's Lot, it's Stephanie Hansen, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. For more information, head to stephaniesdish.com, and you can catch her Saturday mornings. This is my guilty pleasure on Saturday mornings when I'm driving around on the Weekly Dish on My Talk 107.1. That's a good radio station.